My Irish mother was fun-loving, and she liked her wine. My Depression-era father was serious and goal-oriented. He wanted to save money to accomplish what no one in his family had done: invest in the stock market and put 3 kids through college. Wine costs money, and since my father neither smoked nor drank, my mother had to settle for the only vintage he was willing to buy her, a rot-gut pink Catawba. Tight-fisted, he'd be considered a tyrant by today's standards, and he ruled our castle with iron fists. Yet he provided well, he had no vices, and he wanted the best for us. He bought my mother 4 jug cases of pink Catawba and stored them in the garage. The jugs, decidedly unglamorous, had glass hooks to make pouring easier. Today, Gold Seal Mountain Lake Pink Catawba 3.0 liters sells for $17.99. He bought a similar brand in the 1970s for pennies on the dollar. We lived in Syracuse. The inexpensive Catawba came from the Finger Lakes, and the clunky jugs were awkward to pour. But if my father thought this would deter my mother, he was mistaken. Women of her generation knew how to make do. The first time she lugged a jug into the kitchen, funneled the pale liquid into her imitation Waterford cut glass decanter, a miracle of not quite biblical proportion occurred. The pale pink wine against the sharply etched glass made a sophisticated statement and lent class to our small, cluttered kitchen. Every night, as she cooked dinner, my mother poured a glass. A bird never flew on one wing, she'd declare, and pour a second to drink with her meal. She sipped a third as she did the dishes, and sometimes had a fourth after taking her customary after-dinner walk around the block. According to my brother, these same glass jugs were used to hold liquid bleach. He also managed to take a sip and reported that while the wine's flavor was not bleachy, it was a notch below the wine our Catholic Church used for communion. Catawba, along with the clandestine Salem cigarettes tucked in her underwear drawer, beside a tiny purse holding rolled bills, made up the body of my mother's silent declaration of independence. Wine and smokes took the edge off. The cash was mad money, reserve a woman put aside in case she had a fight with her man and had to go it alone. I doubt she would have gotten far. My mother never burned dinner or slurred words. Maybe her nightly Catawba stopped her from complaining about the scratch and dent refrigerator my father bought from a wholesaler across town. Perhaps a secret smoke helped her back him when he insisted that we kids finish every single despised current cookie from the 24-box case he bought on clearance before he bought pricey Oreos again. My mother respected his ambitions. When his modest allotment for my senior prom dress made a department store buy impossible, she took me to a thrift shop. Despite whispering secondhand to me, the gown was lovely. As she aged, my mother yearned to join a country club where ladies lunched, sipped rosé, played bridge. My father, despite being an avid golfer, refused. Too expensive. So she set up a card table in our living room and entertained at home. Day drinking wasn't commented on, and she was never drunk or hungover. She was flushed, sparkly-eyed, enjoying life, and maybe feeling she'd won some invisible prize when she snuck a cigarette or an extra glass of pink. My parents' life was imperfect, but they arranged so each got what they wanted. My father did well with his stocks, and all 3 kids graduated college debt-free. And when my mother brought out her elegant carafe at dinner time, he shrugged and didn't challenge her when she proclaimed, "A bird never flew on one wing." Thank you.